in this abandoned plaza, which is the heart of the criminal activity of the band of desperados known as the Gutter Guild. The Gutter Guild has you well surrounded, and you are doubly surrounded by a twisting warren of filthy, crumbling buildings. Check out the map, and it will provide further detail as to your, let us call it a plight that bespeaks the desperation of your predicament. None of you have ever been in this much danger facing off against such formidable enemies. There has been an eruption of rats pouring out from the formerly cloaked figure that stood disturbingly before you. He is flanked by two feral-looking were-rats, half men, half rats, and the various members of the Gutter Guild close in darkly around you with their glinting knives and filthy, rotting teeth. This is Blaskus here. He is still bound with chains and calling out his goofy apologies. "I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry. I've got you into a mess," he yells out. Now, in a burst of heroic moment, a moment of flight, the horse bound, as mysterious elven steed bound, carrying the illusionist over the heads of the encroaching Gutter Guild members. The hoof bashed in one of the Gutter Guild members' heads as he fell heavily to the ground, and you rallied the horse and galloped up alongside to Cat, the noble tinker gnome, forest gnome ranger, who called out a bright whistle that summoned the horse in her direction. The horse took flight. It's almost as if the horse had flown, almost possessed of a magic, and landed deftly on the other side of this closing ring of serious bad guys. Now, check out in this warren of crumbling buildings around you, there are a number of snipers, Gutter Guild members with their treacherous crossbows and short bows, taking aim on various members of the party. Desperation grips your hearts as the battle unfolds. Let us refer to the PowerPoint just once again so we can remember what these your various enemies look like, and then we will commence with the hijinks. So, you remember, of course, that this shadowy figure, who was apparently some head honcho of the Gutter Guild, all was going sort of well in this negotiation. The Gutter Guild wanted you to investigate some sort of system of tunnels underneath the city that even they couldn't access, where bodies were being stolen. Their trade and their commerce in the city is grave robbing, and someone was beating them to it. But before you could cement the deal or not, or refuse their offer of a pact, the barbarian did something unforgettable. He vomited on the head of the Rat King, and what happened? The cloak fell away, and a tide of filthy plague rats came pouring out from underneath this dark cloak. Far more rats. Undead, sort of plague-bitten rats. There's no way that so many rats could be so deftly accommodated underneath the folds of the dark cloak. But there he is, pouring out in an ocean before you. It is a ghastly thing as you've ever seen. Blaskus' eyes go wide with fright as he watches everything come unglued. The members of the Gutter Guild close in, again with their knives drawn. Now, Jacob, you're here, the ranger, and you decided wisely to stay with the cart, and you tuck yourself in behind the horses with your bow drawn, and your keen ranger eyes spot at least 5 snipers in the buildings surrounding you. You are invisible. No one seems to notice you as the Gutter Guild members go lurking past silently. They move like shadows. Now, the rats erupt in a frightful burst and are squealing in this hideous, almost demonic tone as they go pouring out around you. Now, the cleric step forward, represented by this alien cube. She blasts a piercing strike of white light, which literally saves half the party from being instantly overwhelmed, maybe consumed by these feral, vicious sewer rats. And they break in 2 streams of awfulness, and they look as if like they're racing to surround the party. These 2 were-rats have crossbows, very sharp-looking swords, and they hiss with hatred burning in their eyes and move in advance to destroy you all. So, let us unleash our dice and see what happens next.
I set that group on fire.
You set that group, okay, right. So the gnome's hands are up in orange light, and he leveled burning hands at them. And Barbarian, you wipe the slobber off your jaw and draw your axe. What were we gonna say?
I was already awake, but I want to know if we need to roll for initiative.
Yes, initiative is to be rolled as you speak.
I'm gonna guess 16.
15.
8. Now, do I plus or anything like on 8?
Dexterity, you have a +2.
So 2
That's
plus
17.
2.
You would have it.
I have 10. I got 10.
10, okay.
I have
I got
10.
10, okay.
Well, I thought I
Oh,
Can you let us see
And
that?
I have.
Your cleric? Oh,
I'm teaching
I think
her.
you're right here.
you got some spare.
Okay, so would this be smart, and is this a bonus action or an action?
I would take any funky dice.
Because if it sounds like a smart idea.
I got 8.
21.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, the 21. Not bad. Not bad. I have a 10.
What is dexterity?
They have to be.
Not bad one.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes.
Mine too.
Okay.
They have to make.
I got
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
If we take
illusionist,
the back to 5 or is it still 6?
5, let's say 5. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine.
Yes, 5.
Okay, so it's
6 squares.
Deegan,
Yep.
you may have, we already covered this, but Cat, as you roar by the blinding speed of this curious and really magical elven steed, she effortlessly leaps up onto the horse behind you.
And I believe I passed her my.
Yeah, you passed her then.
Yes, she has it, and she definitely cuts away the binds that are still on her wrist. They fall.
They have to make.
Or is it like, no,
Do you
A
recommend
messy
it?
combination
Because it's
of
not
rusty
subtle.
chains and tattered rope.
could it be cut with an arrow?
You certainly could try it. He's such a gigantic bulk of a person. It's almost, it seems impossible that you could get an arrow into the chains without also getting it into the hide of Blaskus, but it may not be fatal. His
It would
voice,
be only a flesh wound, because there's quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, no, wait. It's a plus 1.
everyone is struck by how quiet it is, horribly quiet, except for the squealing of the rats. The Gutter Guild members make no noise. So the only noise you're really hearing is Blaskus's booming voice over the squealing of the rats. He's, "I'm sorry, friends, I'm sorry," as they try to drag him back. And he's yelling. He says, "I'm sorry, your brother, we'll revenge him," he says.
Whoever's in the front could shoot at Blaskus to try to,
That's the ranger.
Ranger.
Yes,
Okay, so do you need initiative?
yes. So
So,
I got the monk at 21.
oh, I thought you were gonna do 25 to 20, like the,
I'm sorry. Oh, yes. So
if you do 25 to 20, anyone got between 25 and 20?
I got 22.
22.
Okay.
So
I
yeah.
got 21.
21.
the
I
druid-
got
I'm so confused about
Do you
it.
want me to,
You got it.
if you want me to write down the order?
yeah. That's okay. So did anyone get in that zone? Did anyone
Yeah,
have-
25 to 20.
Did I want you?
Okay, so
Some people have 20.
let's start with the ranger. So Ranger, you have a drop on the entire situation because, like I said, you're positioned right on one of the ledges at the base of the cart behind the horses. You've got your bow drawn, and it's a target-rich environment, as they say, as Gutter Guild members swarm from the darkness. What do you want to do as you see your friends completely surrounded by a tide of rats and orcs? What do you want to do?
I would say aim for Blaskus. Well, not Blaskus himself, but the chains around him.
Yeah, so he's here, the enormous half-orc barbarian that, in following him, got you sort of into this dilemma in the first place.
If you take out one guard, he could definitely overpower the other.
Yeah.
Or if you could get an arm free, you can just rip chains off himself.
Yeah, and just basically go full committee on them.
So we got the motion.
I would like to try and see if I can kill one of the rats.
Oh, yes, good. Let's start with,
And then how many snipers are there?
he's
That's
next. And then,
22.
yes, so these two are next. So what's
How
up?
many snipers are there?
So from your vantage
1,
point,
2, 3, 5.
you can see at least 5.
Plus there's guys
Oh,
like here and here. So
they haven't taken notice of you though, so.
Yes,
So
you're
basically okay.
invisible to them, but you realize that as soon as you open fire, with these guys at least, they're gonna have a shot at it.
We'll also have the horses. You want to try and
It's
talk?
true. And the horses are trembling with fear, and it's only your presence there that's calming them, and you might even be like cooing or whispering to them, in your native halfling, easing their growing panic. But you can tell in a couple of moments they're going to break.
They're gonna.
They're just gonna die.
I want to try to kill all the guys by Blaskus.
Okay, good. So you raise your bow, and Blaskus is utterly unaware of your presence. I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry. He booms. Roll, please. 20-sided die as you.
Does he,
17.
17.
Plus.
What's your bonuses?
Oh, dexterity.
Yes.
And
Dexterity and
proficiency.
proficiency.
So you
So
have
22.
advantage because the guy doesn't even know you're taking aim.
You
So
can roll
and
again to
roll
try and
again.
see if you can get a nat 20.
20.
yes, go ahead and roll 20, just in case
Yeah.
you can improve on
Just in
that
case
17.
he crits.
Oh, well.
The
Yeah,
other
you
does.
still, you're still good.
Oh, man.
Suddenly there's an arrow between the shoulder blades of this one and he gasps and slumps. Roll a d6 for damage and then add your dexterity bonus.
So
Plus-
6, because you have a +4, yeah?
6. He falls heavily against Blaskus, who turns to him as if he's a concerned friend. Are you right, friend? Are you well? What's happening? And then he sees the arrow and then wisely decides to shut up. But at that point, it's too late, as 2 of the Gutter Guild members rush in your direction, and the horses panic. Right away, they break and they pull the reins, the harnesses, and they slap against the top of your head. You can choose quickly to grab onto the harness or haul yourself up into the wagon.
I would jump into the water.
Okay, good. Dexterity check, please.
I let him.
In just a moment,
Yeah, you
blinding
made it.
second. What-
18 plus 6.
Oh my goodness.
You
Okay.
made it.
So
I picked it up already.
you clench your bow in your teeth and do a very deft sort of backwards roll with one hand, and you fall. You pull yourself up on the back of the wagon, front of the wagon rather, steering the horses as it bolts forward, and Gutter Guild members leap to the side to not be trampled. So let us continue with the monk as the tides of rats begin to encircle the party. What do you want to do?
I would like to try and see if I can at least kill one or multiple rats.
Yes. Now quickly make a perception check right before you raise your knife to strike. And
I know, but I gotta wait for my turn.
a natural 22. You're
Wow.
not taking 100% long as you completely notice something. Notice and comprehend something mysterious.
Was anybody paying attention to what Benny?
What?
Was anybody paying attention to what Benny was doing?
I didn't see which one his was.
No, which one was Alex?
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
This one's kind of this one's score, that's all I know.
I know this one.
This one's alien.
So anyone who,
Alien close.
a few of you managed to steal a glance at the monk because he strikes with blinding speed. His hand comes up like a bolt of lightning, and he pauses as if noticing something particularly horrible in the tide of swarming rats. But then he brings his dagger down. Claire, do you have a question?
Can I use my
That's all I
channel
know.
divinity?
What is fine?
And use
Say
turn
again.
undead?
I'm sorry, what's it?
Can I use channel divinity and use turn undead, which means that they have to do a wisdom saving throw against me?
If they are undead, yes, you can definitely try that. They certainly have like a kind of corroded presence, but it could just as easily be sort of a plague-ridden, sort of leprous kind of quality as opposed to.
Isn't it still Alex's turn?
Yes,
We
yes.
never used it.
Yes, okay, yes, so we were answering that question. So the dagger comes down blindingly.
Plus, wait.
I don't think so. Is he supposed to be 12?
He's trying to hit.
The dagger lashes down
Dean, you guys.
and
Plus 5, so 13.
13, okay.
Or 12.
So the blade of your dagger sinks into the hide of one of these foul rats, and it squeals and gives way. With the solid punch of your dagger, you pull one of the rats still impaled on your blade, and it kicks and screams. And that's when perhaps anyone who looks in this direction notices there's a strange, like shadowy, like tether, like a string that seems to be connecting this rat he's pulling up from the stream with every other rat. This kind of almost like quivering, shadowy rope.
You think it's the mask?
The rat expires on the blade, and you can see this shadowy bind just drift away. It falls off and dissipates. It's very mysterious and totally unnerving. Of course, this is happening in a blinding flash of time. Just a few seconds. So, Druid, go ahead.
Wait, you can also use a bonus.
That's when you can destroy it.
Yes.
So it'll all come
No,
up.
just to
So
yes.
they attack again.
So you can fling the rat off your dagger and strike
The
again.
only reason I get rid of them
About
all at
6.
once is lightning. There's lightning.
Wow.
6.
Yes, and there seems to be more pouring up from the heap of them.
That's a 21 hit.
Yes, more for damage, please.
See this?
It's 4 plus 3.
One,
You can
two spell.
D and then the
So
amount
you
of
can-
sides. That's how. 7 damage.
Good, okay. So your dagger blindingly strikes and takes out 2 more rats as they go squealing and flying. And the black shadowy vines that to connect these rats and just drift away as these two rats scatter out into the depths of the cobblestone. But they seem to be multiplying, and more of them are squealing and roaring out from underneath the mound of this guy's cloak.
So are we going after the cloak, the mask, or am I trying to scare them away?
So someone's
This is a
probably
good
gonna have
question.
to go for the cloak and mask, and someone else is gonna have to keep the rats off
I
them.
think,
Now, does everyone remember the mysterious
yeah, the guy was.
crow wizard?
Yeah.
He's actually on the roof of this building, so above this sniper who's leaning out of the window here. And he rained down some magic missiles, which didn't do a tremendous amount of damage, scattered a couple of the bad guys, but he's still up there lurking darkly, and you can see the crows are spiraling over his head. So, Druid, what do you want to do as?
I'm going to try to lightning these rats in front of me.
Very good. Okay, so this, are you here? Okay, so it's on the
Would Sacred
targets
Flame
to,
pass?
it's on the targets to see if they can cope with the blast of lightning. The Dragonborn takes a massive inhale, and a streak of blue lightning goes exploding out into the tide of rats. And unfortunately, oh my goodness, 18. So the rats seem to anticipate the blast of lightning and swarm around it. The lightning bounces off a filthy cobblestone and strikes a Gutter Guild member so directly, he's lifted off the ground, and for a moment, he's glowing like a light bulb, full of blue light, and then he promptly bursts in a dusty, ashy moment cloud and falls back down.
I mean, I could see how much
I'm sure he's a
No,
serious.
no.
Go ahead and-
You just brutally murdered
So-
That is makes me look soft.
Yeah, so just the
She just
thing-
dusted
He's
right.
totally Sam.
That's separate.
And that's not enough.
This were rat leaps out of the way. As traces of the lightning dance across the top of his fur and head, and he squeals and lunges to the side. Okay, so let's continue with other good initiative rolls. Very high.
I got 16.
16.
I didn't mean about go.
10.
There you go.
9 damage. Also, it's 30 feet.
I'm
of
just
range.
moving back.
Yes, it's arcs out. How'd you do? Gary?
21. I got 21.
Oh, okay, so
I was considering.
Dragonborn, you're up next. What do you want to do? This is you here.
Yep.
As the rats are dodging lightning and encircling the party. What do you want to do?
No,
Yeah, so these rats probably aren't doing this on their own accord, and there should be like a cloak and a mask somewhere around here.
That's right.
there's
And
magic
with
following.
the
Are they
shadow,
stacked on one another?
I'm gonna take a quick guess and say that an item somewhere under the cloak or
Is-
it's being the cloak and
Is
mask
probably
itself.
controlling what the fish.
So if you set fire to it, it probably will stop doing the attack.
Yeah, you have to destroy whatever is creating.
The thing
the-
is, I'm all the way over here.
Yes.
You
Oh,
can
you
move
have
that way.
I
30
could.
You have 30 feet of movement, so you
Yeah.
can be able to get right
So
up
you're-
there.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, 6 squares, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6.
she can.
Yeah, I could
Which
call
makes
that,
sense.
didn't I?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yes, but when we come around to the next, so Dragonborn, what were you saying?
People have given me good ideas of going up to the cloak and just and incinerating everything there.
So you could break away and try to run
Yeah.
directly towards it. You want to do that? There's several party members in the way, so you want to try and leap over the party members and land next to it. You'd be leaping over the half-orc, the cleric, and the
Slightly.
and the
How tall
gnome.
is it?
Slightly over the nose.
It's kind of a lot.
Literally over the night.
How tall?
Oh, no, it's a big step.
This sort of leaves
Oh,
Tiefling in a very vulnerable position because he's holding the kind of the back of the line here.
Come on.
It's
I
fine.
mean, you're good at
7
holding
foot
the
tall
line.
guy.
That's true.
Hopping
Yeah.
over.
That's what you're thinking.
You want to do that?
This is totally gonna end well. Yep, I'm doing it.
Okay.
Do it.
So the-
It's totally not gonna crash and trample like this in the
Well,
second
now you have to
round.
run another fire. You set fire to the building, there goes the sniper.
Nothing's going to happen.
Pal-
I bet you it's for me.
This is chaos.
The paladin-
Alright. 7.
The paladin gives a worried look to the druid and then breaks ranks and runs right to the center of the group and does a
I'm
dexterity
doing
check
this
as
just for
she
chaos.
tries to massively leap
+2.
her golden scaly form over the line of her friends.
+2.
Roll 4. Yeah.
That is 14.
Oh, very
Plus
good.
16.
So
Yeah, because she has high death.
It's a massive- Goldenborn, Dragonborn, Golden Paladin, lands.
And that is 30 feet.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Right next to the cleric, and the cleric is momentarily surprised as this gigantic, but actually moving dragonborn
7 foot tall.
lands deftly,
Jeez.
gigantic.
Yeah, she's tall.
Even the rats are a bit surprised by that.
Dragonborn are very tall.
So
Yeah, Dragonborn on average.
Dragonborn on average.
7 foot. You people are like
Dragonborn on average are
8 foot.
Dragonborn
No,
on average are over
right.
6 foot at least.
So, okay, Dragonborn, Dragonborn, you were standing looking at this glowering heap of filthy cloth from which rats pour endlessly, seemingly. It's right in front of you, and wherever this rat king once stood, there's only the foul garments and the racing rats. So
I
what do you want
was
to do?
told to incinerate it, so I'm gonna do that.
How would you?
Fire breath.
Yes, fire breath. Good.
I
Okay.
was told to do this,
Yes,
so
I
I'm
forgot
just
about
rolling
fire
with
breath.
that.
So,
Fire breathing dragon.
I'm just rolling with
It is
that.
super.
so there is a burst of
It's
searing
super
flame,
effective.
and this red marker illustrates well that the cloak goes up in a blazing bonfire of filthy fiber.
Is your dragon's breath a cone or like,
It's a cone.
so it would kind of spread like the.
Yes, and the
Yep,
this
I got it.
where rat his right arm is engulfed in flames. He howls and hisses and takes several steps back
Yeah.
as the rats
Chaos.
almost like
Chaos.
one spasming body, one collective form. They spasm and spin and leap and jump away, hissing and biting. However, unfortunately, there is a spray of like shrapnel of rats, like a bath of rats go flying up
It's like a shell of
and land on your shoulders and head and start biting ferociously.
This is fun.
Burn my hand and just light them all. Excuse me.
Chaos ball.
That's wrong. One of the bites you solidly on the ear, which is for dragon ear, that's sort of tucked in, and you take 2 points of damage.
Okay.
Please make a,
She's done.
Earlier, you said that the
and make a poison saving throw, please, a constitution check.
Yeah,
And what were you saying?
Rats are flavor.
Yes, they are.
I pay attention during your.
It's 19.
I take notes. on
Very good, very good.
Four.
And you wanted to cast a light spell at the
I just
dragon
want,
board?
because my light spell is already going, I just want to turn my hand still.
Yes, very good.
1 + 1, that would be unnatural 20.
Oh my goodness. The dragon
19
board,
+ 1.
iron-like constitution, you are completely immune to the rat's poison. However, the cleric levels her hand emanating a powerful white light right into your eyeballs. Can you make another saving throw, please, to see if you are blinded?
Chaos!
What? Chaos.
Oh.
It's like when you use the
So
thumb.
she needs to save against my spell.
Yes.
Because it's right in your
Okay,
eyes.
what was it?
As a paladin, I'm gonna give you advantage to that. Can you roll twice and take the best? The paladin,
14.
okay, so you
That
get,
is not safe.
it sort of lights up her face, so her mouth is full, like, really give a good view of the dragonborn's teeth. She has really good dentistry, so.
You can't take floss, you know what I mean?
And the rats swarm off your head in a panic, and they instantly crawl into your cloak. So you have plague rats crawling underneath your cloak. It's a horrible thing. But the fire burns briefly and bright, and when it
I don't like
smolders,
this chaos
Oh,
anymore.
no, it's gonna let my eyes up, I'm guessing.
When
I
it's-
don't like this
You're
chaos
like-
anymore.
when it smolders, the
I am
cloak,
so glad I have fire.
the cloak remains unscathed. The cloak is not damaged.
I think
But
the cloak has fire.
what is-
sides.
What is clearly illuminated is this strange shadowy network, almost like a network of shadows that is connecting the rats. So it's like these strange, narrow, dark strings of shadow which connects every single rat except the ones that are lying dead further along on the cobblestone. They've been broken free because they've been severed. But in any case, this shadowy network seems even more clearly illuminated as the fire blazes up and then it's gone. So let's keep going with initiative. Who got the next highest number?
I got 15.
16 to 16.
Okay, good. So the gnome and the barbarian. So let's go around this way. Barbarian, you wipe the slobber off your chin and hoist your axe. What are you going to do? Of course, you're here surveying.
You wanna go help?
How far away is he? From
You can have that.
Rage, yeah, you can start trying to pull up.
He already raged.
so currently if I go 60 feet, so I take my axe. Yes, if I just like dash.
You want to dash in the direction of Blaskus?
If you use the dash action, you can't attack.
I know.
Now,
Also, I take
Just make
a half
sure you-
damage.
Blaskus, his eyes light up, and you can see him. He's looking directly at you, Barbarian, and he says, brother of the bear totem. He yells out. He says, help me, free a brother of the boar. He yells out, identifying himself as a barbarian of the boar tribe. So that's something he's sharing with you. And you see him straining viciously against his ropes, but he's still trapped. So you want to bolt at him? Okay, I'm going to have you make a dexterity check as you race past the gnome who's so absorbed in frying rats with his hands that he doesn't see, he doesn't notice the gigantic barbarian. running behind him.
I just do a little salt, pepper.
Yeah, so
A little bit of barbecue sauce under that.
can you?
Oh, God.
Okay, so you managed to hurdle over your friends, but it puts you right in the flow of rats. So if you want to keep running, then you're going to subject yourself to some bites. Okay.
I take half damage first. I think I can take it pretty far.
Yes, so let's see. Oh my goodness, you step on the first 2 rats, and then there's 3. There's a lot of rats. They swarm up around your shins, your knees. You're bit several times, but you don't even notice the pain. You just feel the rats exploding under the weight of your feet as you easily break through the line. However, and again, you don't notice. There are at least 6 rats on you, biting ferociously on your legs. You're just
Wait, you don't care.
slamming through.
You do
So.
not care.
Okay, so you're right about there where we'll stop. But the rats,
And make it is 40 feet.
oh, sis. Okay, so when you reach Blaskus, who's getting pulled away at rapid pace, what do you want to do?
I
Don't
want
throw
to
your sword at
since I
the
can
guy.
do much, since I don't have a bonus action, I want to go blue, almost like white up on them so they can't ignore me anymore. And like I have my body shifted hopelessly because I have weight on, but my self is very controlling of it. So he turns his body, and on him, he's trying to he saw those 2 hand axes pointed to Vasquez.
Okay, good. The weapons delivery system. Okay, and is that your whole action? You can't take an attack now, right? Is that-
No.
6 Okay, good. So you make it to him, and let's see if Blaskus, poor Blaskus, does his eyes light up when you just see it almost like he's slobbering with excitement when he sees the axe. He's just nodding his head like, yes, brother, yes.
Charge!
Yes. So you take half. But
Kill
the
them
rats-
all.
One of them is actually burrowing into your thigh, which is no good for anybody. So you take 6 total, so half, 12, but half, so 6. And you are immune to the poison that they're carrying. Okay, no, light them up. So what are you going to do? But one thing,
Wait.
can everyone make a perception check? If you really have to roll basically an natural 20 because it's far away. And
Come on, that's not fair.
including the objective.
Alex on that one.
That's funny.
That works out.
I got it. I got it. Cool.
Look at me, look at me.
What's that perception?
Okay, so check it out.
Nice living here, please.
You're preoccupied
Hey,
afterwards.
hey, hey. I failed. I forgot I'm gonna get taxed right here right now. I got an 8.
Yeah. Oh, so this is to notice something else. Now, the monk who's already noticed something that's really important about this the nature of these rats, and the dragonborn who've already torched up, is that, and anyone else who rolled higher than 18, is that the rats, as they were pulled away, as the rats were pulled away from this shadowy network, they slowly began to fall lifeless off the barbarian. So these, at some point, the shadowy tethers snapped. Yeah. So again, once the barbarian is completely oblivious to this because he's in dashing. About this far out, the tethers just dissolved, and the rats, after they finish fighting the barbarian ferociously, they fall around him like terrible shoes around him. Worn shoes.
Well, let's stop.
Check it.
No,
Technically, the idea of burning is allowed. Just burn it.
I don't.
Someone said.
Wait, time out, everyone. Go ahead, Minnie.
I was gonna say that you know how you have a rat and then, you know, you said his leg,
Yeah.
does it, like, does the network stop working in that rat leg?
Yeah, all the rats fell off of it.
Okay, I didn't
And,
know. No.
I know, so now the gnome, and then we'll do the rest of the initiative. Okay, so Take it
I want to take the cloak.
Oh, that was gonna be my thing, dude.
You're gonna
He
take-
came over there first.
well,
You're gonna take the mask.
The one that was me.
now you do have burning hands happen. Burning hands is blazing up on your hands.
Yeah,
And
burn the cloak
Your
at the
cleric,
beginning.
the cleric is pushed up right, you're like shoulder to shoulder. You could release the spell and jump in front of her, or you want to try and burn the cloak with, what are you trying to do?
Again, we must burn it
I'm trying
more.
Grab the cloak
Not more.
and run.
Now, I will say that rats are still swarming out from underneath the cloak, unaffected by the fire. And if you step into this stream, you're automatically going to get bit any number of times. And you get a sense that that cloak is just going to be like hugging the rats. Like if you pick that thing up, there's going to be rats, oh plenty. But I don't want to discourage you from reckless
I just want to
activity.
know
So
what's bringing the rats there, what's connecting them, so I can take it and run.
it's a totally, it's a possibility.
Grabbing the mask and running.
That'd be fun to. Let me
Try
handle
grabbing
the
the
cloak.
mask and running.
Yeah, so the mask is somewhere perhaps within the tangle of the hood. And Monk, you're,
I think, there's some sort of like hive mind on. So
No.
this could be able to work. Like, let's say, if there's water nearby, we could go out there.
Drown
and
the
put-
rat.
That's a
Exactly.
well somewhere.
We could put it in there. and
That's a
maybe-
well.
So,
That's a well.
yeah, so-
Maybe
The
they
well-
might be immune to fire, but I don't think they're gonna also be immune to water.
the well is here. That's where the were-rats came climbing out of, and there's a long road.
Dump them into
Is
the
there-
well.
That's a possibility.
Maybe
So,
all of you know.
but, now we're in real time, so the gnome, it's hard to communicate this stuff in this moment before the gutter guild pounces on you all. So take it away, Rock Gnome. What do you want to do?
Since someone else is gonna grab the cloak and just dump it down the well. Hopefully, for it to be,
Why don't
far
you
enough
take care of one of the
to-
rats then? Well, yes.
Speaking of, here are the were-rats, by the way, and they are foul and vicious-looking characters, to say the least.
Because as soon as we get rid of the cloak.
I cast magic missile and try to aim it at this dude who's getting over there.
And so do you want to release the burning hand spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
doesn't
will
matter.
definitely hit.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It don't.
If it's hive magic and rats are immune to fire, then that's also probably gonna be.
I don't need to be immune to fire. I just need to push it so far back, it can't do anything.
If you push it too far back, it's gonna crush into our Goliath, so be careful.
I don't think,
Like-
I don't think you're gonna push it back 20.
I don't think it's really gonna do anything to me.
Yeah, I
And
don't
plus,
think
you
it's
need to
gonna
push it
do-
back 20 feet.
So casting time, 1 action, range area, 120 feet.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
If
you
he
can.
falls, if he doesn't mean he falls over, then I'll just step back and just clutch him underneath.
Oh, yeah, 'cause of the
You
crowd.
have no life, it's
I
gonna
am,
be
but-
there.
So
I put
Jacob,
a bunch of rats just by walking.
your cart is moved into the action here, and the horses are beautifully rendered.
The horses in 4K.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are longer than
4K ultra
They're
HD.
just running into puddles.
This is hot dog horses.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I got
Jacob,
No, wait.
I'm sorry, what?
You got 3 damage.
You have 3 missiles.
Yeah,
3
Yeah,
missiles.
that's what I just throw it. So-
Jacob, you realize
Wait,
the
wait,
horses
wait,
cannot.
wait.
Time out.
Time out, everyone. Jacob realizes the horses
Wait,
cannot.
yeah, you got 3 missiles, he said.
Yeah, hold on a second. Jacob, the horses cannot be stopped. They can only be steered, so you know that.
Oh,
Okay.
can I use
So-
the top of the garage?
I got 7.
We'll come back to you in a second.
You
So,
got 9.
No, you got 9. He got 9. He got 9
It-
missiles.
a very dexterous turn of magical ability. The burning hands instantly turn into a blast of purple missiles, which go searing out across the top of this rat stream and explode into the side of this hissing and slightly charred were-rat. You can
It's
see
still burning on the side.
his eyes light up with a hateful energy, and he turns his attention fully in the direction of the rock gnome and rushes in your direction. He,
Isn't he on fire?
he's bad.
His arm.
It was only a glancing blow. He pulls out 2 vicious-looking daggers and points them directly at the rock gnome and lunges at you. He lunges towards the stream of rats, which break for him and you can see the shadowy tethers everywhere as he leaps, pounces, feral to say the least, in your direction. But let's keep going with initiative. Who else?
14.
14. Good. So Claire, you've
I
got.
would like to take the cloak and put it on the well. Take a torch, put that down the well. So then if it's still going, there's still gonna be light making rats go by.
So you're the closest to the cloak. So you know instantly that you turn your hand, which is still emanating the light spell, and instantly the light goes out. The spell is canceled as if consumed by some creepy, malevolent energy.
I don't care.
in the cloak. And you don't even have to cast detect evil. The emanations of evil are profound, and for Claire, they nearly knock you over. So you want to pick it up.
I want to pick it up.
You feel intuitively that this is a terribly dangerous idea, but I don't want to stop you from.
She's picking it up.
Okay.
Fairly dangerous, that's our middle name.
Yeah.
So you plunge your hand into the writhing darkness, and you are instantly seized upon by half a dozen rats who squirm up and leap
Oh, very
in your
good.
direction. What is your armor class, my friend?
Oh,
My
God.
armor class is 14.
Oh, God, they are all hidden. Medium armor too.
So four of them, all of them land on you, your
Now that's
shoulders
a
and
lot.
neck, and four of them sink their
Now that's
vicious and filthy fangs into chinks in your armor underneath your helmet, and you take 1, 4, and 7 points of damage as they begin to burrow into you. The pain is enormous, but you clench your teeth and fight through it. Maybe can you make a saving throw? Let's do a
Hold
constitution
on.
check.
How much damage is it so far?
7.
Just a total, sir?
Yes, that's right.
No.
Okay, no, okay, so the pain is unrelenting, and the shock and the viciousness of the rats drives you back, and almost as if the cloak itself pushed you away.
And I
And you
tossed
realize,
it into the well in the process.
what's that?
She is determined to get that thing in the well.
Okay, so you
So
had to
if
back
she's
away.
squealing in pain, she throws it back.
Well, you never actually got a chance to touch the cloak, so you back away. Now, can you make a saving throw? Because you feel suddenly lightheadedness as the vicious poison of the rats
Wait,
swoons.
are you a cleric?
Yeah.
Wait, what level are you?
I'm a level 3.
Aren't you immune to poison and disease?
Are you immune to poison?
Level, I'm pretty sure level clerics are immune to all poison and disease.
This is a great question.
Thank you, 5%. Wait,
Oh,
I have
Hold on one second.
I'm immune to disease.
I know level 2 paladins are immune,
And certainly druids, but
Yeah, he was.
like, cause I'm running a paladin.
No, that's a paladin thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only paladin?
but I will give you
Yeah,
advantage on
paladin.
this. What's the nature of your lesson?
The god, I will stack you.
Plus constitution,
Yes,
so that would be an 18.
18.
Okay.
Okay, so with a muttering a prayer to your deity of choice, you shake it off, and the lightheadedness rapidly abates from your awareness. And again, you're about 2 or 3 feet away from the cloak. However, the stream of rats is like between you and this filthy garment. And again,
So I
rats.
pass light again to scare away the most previous rats, and I go for the cloak again.
Okay, so you fire up light again, but that will be the end of your turn as you fire up light one more time.
You can
The
bonus action.
chanting
spiritual weapon.
a prayer to your deity.
Yeah, I'm also gonna bonus action spiritual weapon.
Oh, very good. Okay, so one hand produces another blast of piercing white light, and the other hand lifts, and a golden glowing hammer emanates
Oh,
above the tide of rats. The rats themselves are unimpressed by this divine magic, but it still does damage. Do you want to bring the hammer down on the rats?
Yeah.
Wait.
I have, I'm pretty sure it's a weapon, but I will.
Overwatch.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 10.
A 10. Okay, so the hammer explodes primarily into the cobblestones, and it's as if you're punching into filthy, plague-ridden water as the rats quickly adapt and absorb and swarm around. As the hammer, the glowing hammer returns to its space in the air to the left of your shoulder, the rats continue their unrelenting flow of horror. So let's keep going with initiative. Who else? How do we do with
I got an 8.
an 8? And you got a 14, right?
No, I got,
Oh, you
we
were-
both got 10.
10, okay, and then Claire went, okay, here goes, so take it away, Vinny, what do you want to do? As-
Obviously, I just basically say, hey Fred, how's the family going? Just slice one of them.
Oh, God.
Hey Fred, how's the family going?
So, you're very sort of absurdist comedy kind of question, throws the gutter guild member who closes in, and he stops his spread, and then suddenly your scimitar is in his torso. Go ahead and roll, please.
Fred, who's Fred?
That's a
One.
one, not one, then a one.
A nat So your scimitar flies out of your hand and goes dancing in this spiraling moment of silver energy, and then clatters into a darkened alleyway between the snipers. And the gutter guild member is stunned. He turns
What you get for crit
and he
failing.
looks into the darkness and like looks back. He says, "We've thrown that to Fred." And then
People leave it out.
the gutter.
Push on to kill it. If don't explain it to you.
Yes.
Get the second attack.
So the gutter guild member has his arms open like this, and then of course you can go for. Let's say you at least have a dagger, if not another scimitar. Do you have two scimitars?
I have two.
Okay, so this could be the greatest fake out of any combat ever. So you have advantage on this because he's got his hands open like, I'm gonna kill you now. You're in big trouble, but
That is
5. Roll again. Take the higher one.
you can do it.
Okay.
You can do it.
That's 5.
5. Okay. So
There's a plus 6 total on 11.
11. Okay, so the scimitar is drawn, but not before the gutter guild member tries to kick out your legs. 10 is dexterity bonus. So
I basically get Kano, basically.
he kicks you behind the knee.
I
And you,
basically get Kano from Mortal Kombat movie, basically.
can you make a dexterity check? Roll 20-sided die once again, please. As the nimble and powerful leg of the gutter guild member knocks.
There's a 6.
Oh, you go toppling backwards into the rats as they swarm over you, and we're bitten many a time. So.
How much damage am I gonna take today? Let's see.
Let's see. Are you going to die?
Oh, so many bites. They're running around the head, the neck, the shoulders. 20 and 19.
Wait. I'm sorry. Did you just say a 20? Did you say 20?
Yeah.
This one.
I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah.
But the true horror is that there's a tide of rats on you. You take 8 points of damage. So, and please make a saving throw.
How many damage am I gonna make today?
Please roll 1. Constitution. And as a tiefling,
Four.
so
I'm basically knocking on death's door like, hey, Jeff, how you doing?
you still got plenty of hit points.
Hey, yo, Reaper, what's your?
Hey, Reaper, can I hear that vodka? Hey,
He needs time to take a nap.
how you doing up there?
Is a rat nap. Half-orc, so you are standing next to Monk, who's stabbing.
I witnessed all of what has been happening all of this.
Yes, total pandemonium.
I noticed that this guy is going in for an attack, so
Yes.
I'm going to try to flank around
Ah, yes.
with my and attack this guy with.
So, yeah, someone needs help to keep it. Hey, so Rock Gnome, the half-orc hasn't noticed the tiefling go down under the tide of rats, breaks through the ranks right past the druid as she finishes off her lightning breath and moves to counter the advance of this were-rat who is a hulking brute. to
I'm
say
not
the
even
least.
knocking on death's door there.
Yes. So illusionist, you notice the tiefling. He topples backwards with a sword launching into the distance and is brought down by a tide of rats and 2 gutter guild members who move in to finish him off. So
Well,
maybe,
Actually,
I'm ready to have a Reaper.
Well, second attack.
Yeah, you're going to see the
Total?
Reaper. It's like
Yeah,
almost 100% chance.
So
You're going to see
the were-rat is quite deft and lashes out with a cruel dagger, trying to parry and maybe disarm you.
16.
16. He does not successful, and your swords clash for a moment, and his hateful rat face is in your face, hissing. And he says, "You've got me to die," he says. And the poisonous spittle that sparkles upon your face. It is unnerving, but your steely half-orc nerves are unshaken. However, you prevented the rock gnome from being stabbed horribly by the were rat. So well done. Okay, let's keep going. So illusions. Yes.
Is that guy on the first level?
No, he's good question. So he's about he's on the second floor of that.
How much movement would I need?
So you're on the horse.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
The horse has 60 feet of movement.
So do you want to try and lunge the horse? Up
Right,
in the air?
I was just gonna take him through the building, but
Oh, I
we
see.
can either way.
So both are maybe are options, but so there's a battered doorway, which the door itself's been torn away. You see to the left of that archer figure,
Yeah.
And he is about 12 foot in the air, and you get a sense this powerful horse could probably make that jump, but then it's a very narrow window. So now that's when
Use the horse to grab.
that's when the cat is yelling. She says the rune on the shoulder. She says.
The balloon on the shoulder, the
Oh,
horse.
the shoulder of the horse.
She's
There's a
pointing.
ring on the shoulder of
And
the
you can
horse.
see that the rune
That can count for
is
the,
glowing of a golden light.
that can several attachments.
I'm gonna tell it, let's go get that cloak and just head there then.
Yeah.
She
that
says-
Is that
horses
what,
have like
I think that's what
60.
she.
She yells. She says it's not the name of the horse or the horse's owner. She says if you can say it. She says it turns off the illusion.
Okay, we need to figure
Wait.
out
Oh,
the
wait.
Wait, she says
Can I
it turns
read?
off the
Illusion.
illusion.
Can I read
We
it?
happen to have an illusionist in our party.
Yeah, we literally
Can I
have
tell it, discern what it is?
So wait, then this happens. You feel a strange sensation, and you realize that you're shifting into the form of a wood elf, even without choosing it. And to Cat shaking, she says, "It's wood elf. It's wood elf language." She's shaking.
What up language? It's
I
the
know that.
language.
Can you
of-
make an intelligence check
It's a
at
what up.
advantage? When you look at it and intuitively understand, because you're in the shape of a wood elf, that
Okay,
it's some
18 plus 7.
Oh,
So
wow.
25, I think is what it comes out to be.
it's so ancient. It's millennia. It's many millennia years old. That you don't even know what the word means, but with a combination of sort of whisper and singing, you say it, and the room lights even more intensely. And then this happens. This horse, which you're galloping upon, turns into this horse. Gigantic wings come bursting out the side. And to Cat yells, "You see, it's a magic horse!" She yells. So
Okay,
then the power of this horse
Probably
is
can't give this
revealed.
horse
okay.
Okay, so that guy goes tackling with shock out the window and falls to his death onto the cobblestone below.
Basically gets the head, he basically gets head first.
Yes, that's right. The the filthy rock around the windowsill breaks and he tumbles out and crashes to the ground right next to the Pegasus, which can, if on your command, take to
Yeah.
flight.
Okay.
How far would that be able to fly?
So-
I have it pulled up here.
Yes, so please do.
That is
It has even 80 feet.
Oh,
So,
you can grab that and then fly away.
so to Kat, who's behind you, you realize she's got her hands free, a dagger. She can conceivably, she's small, but she can conceivably grab it. That's an
Okay.
option.
I'm gonna use the 90 feet of movement in order. I'm gonna go over to that cloak and try.
But let me say, you look and the cat yells, "The tiefling! The tiefling!" And you can see he's well swarmed by rats.
Oh, yeah, the tape. No, the tape is on the close to see if you can get
Where my mind's going with it is that cloak is what's keeping them alive. So if it's separated from them, it should kill the ones that are trying to kill you.
It's either that or they'll get
See.
pulled with it.
So
So.
one thing you notice in just 1 second is that the crow wizard is standing on the parapet, just at the edge of the rooftop, and he's agape, staring at the Pegasus, going, yes. And in fact, all enemies on the board are temporarily stunned, and you spared an entire attack round for the whole party. So well done. So no one gets to attack, and even the horses, Jacob, that are galloping,
The horse doesn't
stop
have
for a second, and rear back as this Pegasus fills the plaza with light. Wait, I'm sorry, what's that?
I have my back turned to this, I don't know what's going on.
Yes, you just, but there's suddenly a brightening in the darkness, and you can't help but turn, and the rats are even momentarily paused in their biting.
the passengers
Oh, wait, hold on.
standing next to you.
Someone's got to say the tiefling. Okay, good.
What's the distance from me to the cloak?
75 feet.
75.
Or 70
Okay.
feet to the cloak, 75 feet to the cloak.
Okay. I have the Pegasus fly up 10 feet.
Okay.
I go directly over the cloak. I use my action to cast Mage Hand
Yes.
to grab the cloak
Mage
as it
Hand,
came to a plane, bring it up to me, grab it, and use my action to dash 90 feet straight into there.
Oh, yes, you are killing me. Wait, we're underground.
Use my bonus
Oh, no,
action.
this is-
We're above ground.
Yeah, this is
This
about.
is in a flat.
Okay.
Oh. I thought.
So the power of this Pegasus, it's like piloting like a small aircraft. So can you roll a, so, but it's not a strength thing. It's like you're getting a chord, like
Yeah.
using your mind to sort of
Yeah.
communicate with this animal. So can you make an intelligence check?
Would this be considered Arcana? Or
Yes, definitely,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Because of the magical nature of this.
15?
So, yes, so the horse instantly yields to your commands, doesn't obey them, but just agrees with them. You can tell the power of this creature. And Kat is just sort of bouncing up and down with joy, like, it's a magical horse.
My horse called.
She's on the back of the Pegasus with
From your name.
now. She throws her dagger to try and help the tiefling at the Gutter Guild member that kicked you and made you fall over. And well, she'll give her initiative advantage because of her height. 15. So her dagger lands on the left shoulder of this Gutter Guild member who staggers back, hissing. And
Can I just know the thumbs up for when you're like, you made it for
yes,
elbow.
right. You put thumbs up, and of course a rat is biting your thumb viciously.
It's just a rat on the thumb.
Yes, right.
Yeah, you want us going to see the right club.
So
it's like when your thumb is on the
The rats are also thumbs up.
Like,
Okay, so
Did anything happen with the chains as it separated from the?
oh wait, so okay, so the big moment. So the Pegasus takes to the air, and the rats are responding to the blast of wind, which comes soaring down upon all your heads. Everyone is totally absorbed in the moment of this spectacular, divine sort of happening, and this giant winged beast flies down, and sure enough, you fire up the magical hand spell, Mage Hand, and the translucent blue hand drops down, rats scurrying and biting, leaping at the hand, but of course passing right through it, and it grabs the cloak without needing to roll. It lifts the
I'm just grabbing the whole bundle, so.
yes.
The
So
whole package, you know what I mean?
the oh sorry they're such cool dice. So
Actually, you want to time?
it's okay. You lift the filthy cloak up the bundle, and sure enough, and you have it in the clenches of this luminous blue hand. You want to drop it into the well, or you want to fly upwards?
He's gonna fly.
I feel like that would be better because then
I
it doesn't
figured
run
why
around.
they might start keep coming out of it. So I'm gonna go straight up and be above the well. And if I need to drop it in, I can.
Okay.
But as I'm going up, I'm just gonna start tying it, so nothing can come out of it either.
You're going to start tying the cloak.
Well, it's gonna start, it's
So
gonna
I'm gonna let in it.
gonna then explode and then run
Flying up right on one thing. What are you gonna go buy at the store?
But wait, I don't get it. What? Oh, I see. I see. Get me a sandwich, he yells out. So now the hand grabs the cloak and tries to clench down on it, but it's as if someone turned on a faucet full of plague rats, and it comes pouring out horribly all around the cleric's feet. And of course, the Dragonborn, who are just practically.
I love how Kaz
Are
is
they
just
what?
standing next to you watching everything.
Well, it's all happening in seconds, and of course, you just
I'm wondering
attack.
if any of the rats are coming after me, I'm wondering.
Oh, you're surrounded. You're covered by it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's any more coming my way.
No, they're just pouring down and filling up the square rapidly and swarming towards the monster. So you cut into the air. The horse banks back. You fly almost directly up. The cat is just roaring with joy about the whole experience as you go soaring up over the plaza. And you just catch a glimpse. This guy, this crow wizard, looks at you, and he's just shaking his head like, "What are you doing?"
I don't even know.
And his crows, you notice, take flight behind you. Not harassing, but sort of, they just seems very interested in what you're gonna do. So the Pegasus is way up here. What do you want?
Oh.
The rats are still going?
Yeah, so the rats are pouring out, but as you get further up, there's fewer and fewer until finally it's like someone turns off the faucet, and you see several of the rats darkly plummet, squealing into the.
Are these
The
rats
rats
still
are
alive?
dead.
Yeah.
Yes, so they're swarming and panicking, and
Now there's one working out.
Like,
Yeah.
you just bumped me.
yes, and that's they're crashing into everyone and moving with kind of a chaotic energy. One bunch leaps off the tiefling and pounces on one of the government members. This were rat has turned his back to the rock gnome and the half orc as
I basically
they
get
look up
headshot
in shock at what's happening. So what do you want to do?
Is my mage hand up there with me or not?
Yeah, so it's underneath you now, so alongside, and to Kat says, "Don't pull that up there on top of the horse." She says, "Leave it where it is," and of course it's trailing behind you.
Dude, I'm just gonna.
No, don't.
Like if they're not pouring out anymore, I'm just gonna have it keep going up and have it directly above the well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's when all the snipers open fire and the rats on the Pegasus.
Oh no!
In desperate response.
I think these boys have disadvantage.
And there was 119.
Not me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Only the were-rat from an incredible distance with a filthy light crossbow puts an arrow into the back of the Pegasus. And it's just a glancing blow, so the Pegasus doesn't even break stride. But
Do you want me to check if the Pegasus health or?
yes, so it loses 4 hit points. But to Cat looks back and says, "That's all right, look at that bull," she yells out as if there's something particularly venomous about it. So who else has not had a chance to take an action in this? So that is the end of the turn. So well done, everyone. You survived.
We
And,
survived the same kill.
I'm here about like
What's that?
One thing.
This took so 640 to do one turn.
What were you saying, Rocco?
It took 640 to do one turn.
I know. That's what's awesome.
It's been an hour.
I know, we just got here.
I want to
Okay.
get
We're
through
never
it.
gonna level up, we're never gonna sleep, and we're never gonna get our stuff back.
I feel like I'm over here to like
That's
trying to
why
figure out.
Now, okay, so it would have been longer, but the entire Gutter Guild round has been canceled by the appearance of the Pegasus, so well done, except for those snipers. So this is what happens. The cleric pulls one of the rats off her face, and you look down to see that while the cloak is well gone, sitting there ominously is the mask, right there on the cobblestone, looking blankly up.
You left the bundle.
Yes.
I mean, I
And the
got
mask was not
I
part
got that
of
job.
that grab,
I
so
got that job.
it's still lying there on the
Nice
cobblestone.
vest.
When you see it, both the were-rats, after firing at the Pegasus, turn and look at the mask and look at you, and then all at once, the were-rats lunge in the direction of the
Oh,
mask.
no, do I have to?
Kill
try and
them
keep them
all.
secret?
Kill them all.
Let's all do another initiative check, please.
Kill them
Initiative,
all.
initiative.
And this time you're competing against the Gutter Guild, because they were gonna go last, now. They're definitely not going last.
Oh, it might be long.
Okay.
21.
7.
Okay.
I'm
What's
next
the
for it.
dexterity?
Wait, no, it's-
I got-
Yeah.
Sixteen.
Nothing. I get nothing. I do.
13.
13,
Oh, 15.
15, okay. Despite the fact that you didn't roll the highest, you are certainly advancing the quickest, except for the Pegasus and
What about
the.
Oh, they're getting longer.
Yeah. Because they're moving faster.
They are getting slowly.
This is like 5.
It's now.
It's even more. It's 8, 10.
Wait, time out. I can't hear it. Go ahead.
Well, I know that I got the highest roll. I see you. I'm just up, just trying to get up, but I'm just like I just have like one thing, like kind of like
Yes, so the tiefling, you're happy to say that the rats are spasming, some are falling over, some are collapsing, some are biting either Gutter Guild members. The guy who was wounded by Cat's dagger he pulls himself up and moves towards you with his dagger drawn to finish you off. But at least you're not covered by rats anymore. So let's start with 20s. How'd you do your
No, I got a 16.
16, okay. That's
I got so we both got this thing.
You got 18, okay. So Dragonborns and then the half orc.
22, 24.
Okay, so take it away. What do you want to do? As there's still rats on you and they're still biting furiously.
I want to try to get the rats off.
Yes. Okay. So roll 4 times and let's see how many handfuls of rats you can pull off. So as they are. Oh dear.
10,
Okay. So 2 of them with the powerful grip.
13.
Okay. So your last 2 grabs are successful and you clear the sort of lower torso of your armor from these terrible biting rats.
At
But
least I have some.
there are 2 of them giving you a terrible massage running around the back of your shoulders. And you're slapping underneath your cloak. You can't get to them. And they continue to bite you. You take 2 more hit points of damage as they sink their vicious fangs into your back. So
I'm at 7 health.
what do you want to do, Druid?
I
Is-
can hear you as soon as.
Yeah, and I also have.
so you want to go to the mask and do what?
Try to grab it.
Okay, so
I can move it.
there's a line of your companions
Oh my
here
God,
and,
you're
and many a
trying-
rat.
I
So,
can have that.
What-
I mean, I'm 6 and I have feet.
so you want to jump over the rock gnome and he's the shortest. You could try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
So-
God, a 16 and a half foot
The druid-
dragonborn.
To make things more wonderful, does an amazing run and leap through the air over her companions to try and grab the mask, just as the were-rats close in on it.
I imagine if I fail, I'm just gonna land on top of him.
The were-rats are extending their filthy claws. Go ahead.
Acrobatics, that's a 4, because I remember.
Good. So roll please that die.
Oh,
And
yeah, it's on the ground now. Where's he going? I feel like I'm
You guys just disappeared.
wow. Okay.
19.
So-
Unnatural
The
20.
dexterous dragonborn leaps over the scrimmage line and tackles the mask. She lands right on it.
Let's go.
A 6 and a half foot dragonborn just laying on the ground and holding a mat. This is my favorite ever session.
Unfortunately, the were-rats are blindingly fast, and they close in instantly on the dragonborn and produce
This
these
girl's
cruel
gonna
barbed,
die. She's gonna die.
these cruel barbed lashes, like restraining whips, which they lash upon your arms and around your neck to try and to tie you and yank you violently off the mask. So 6 each dice to move it, and then 3 and
12.
but you're
Only 1 hit. One of these 2 back here.
so they've only got your right arm lashed. They're pulling you violently back. One of them has a foot in your back, and they're pulling you with viciousness off the mask. But you have it tucked into your chest. Okay, so that's when the Gutter Guild members attack everyone. So
I don't come to me. I don't come to me.
this guy leaps up onto the wagon and tries to attack the halfling, Jacob. So you're trying to get the horses to respond to your commands, and one of the Gutter Guild members throws himself up viciously and slashes at you with his dagger. What is your armor class?
I'm waiting.
You all found one.
Your armor classes?
Except me and
I'm gonna say
Scott.
like,
And Scott have more spots.
yeah, so Jacob, the dagger cuts into your right shoulder. You take 4 points of damage, and he's standing dangerously right behind you as the wagon is rattling across the cobblestones, moving in to stab you again. So you get a chance to go next. So these 2 guys hurl daggers at the monk. What's your armor class?
Oh,
Wait.
And can't you block missile weapons?
He
Can
can
he catch
catch
missile
them.
weapons?
He
Yeah.
can catch them.
If it's a projectile, yes, you can catch them.
I have a question. Are the other ones coming after me to
So his AC is
Yes.
14.
So 1 dagger flies over your head. The second one is a death shot. It fires right towards your upper torso. What do you want?
D&D Beyond Rule Wit, I can tell you what you can do.
I think you can get a dexterity check.
Slow
Yeah.
down.
So I think,
It's a D10.
no, it's a reaction. So he has 1 reaction, you don't even need to roll anything.
And what is it?
So he
Automatic.
blocks it and it's reduced by 1d10 plus 2.
Oh, very good. Okay, cool.
And he can use one of his 3 key points to turn it.
1.
Turn it into a what?
An attack.
He can, but he would use 2 key points to turn it.
And you can bounce it back at the person who threw it. But in any case,
So anyway, it's reduced by 1d10 plus 2.
so yeah, so roll d10 please, and let's see how that works out. As the dagger streaks through the night, and your hand lashes out in a blinding strike, and oh my goodness, we're almost done.
So 3 plus 6, it's reduced by 9.
So your hand darts out and shatters the blade as the Gutter Guild member stands there gaping, and fragments of the blade go sinking into the writhing and squirming rats all around you, which is not a bit of animal cruelty, but of course not your fault. So they are cruel animals. So okay. These two were-rats are doing everything they can to thrash and throttle the blue dragonborn, and they're consumed. And all three, the half-orc, the rock gnome, and the cleric take rat bite attacks. Let's see how that works out. 76. Okay, rats are everywhere. Rock gnome, you've got one scurrying up your torso, biting your neck. Let's see. You take, what's your armor class?
His AC.
My armor class is 10.
Oh yes. You take 3 points of damage as the rat's foul teeth sink into your torso, into your chest. Okay. Now.
It's gonna go to me next.
And finally, oh yes, I'm sorry. So that guy who's bleeding from a shoulder wound from the cat, he says, "It's time to finish you off," and he lunges at you with his dagger and misses. He trips over a pile of squirming and slain rats, and he falls messily right upon you. What do you want to do? You've got your scimitars pinned underneath you. You've got a free hand. You can try that.
You know, like, I just be like, hi, Dad.
I'm just gonna give him a handshake. You got 18 strength, so you can at least, punch him out or something.
I just grab his hand and square it off.
You're gonna just fling him off. Okay.
Yeah, just like a rag doll.
Roll 20-sided die as your arm powerfully grabs him in.
16.
Oh, you smash him through a rotted door on the first floor of the building. He explodes through it and calls out.
Oh, man is dead.
I basically just said, yeah.
This is what happens. So the barbarian rushes to Blaskus, and Blaskus says, "Brother, I have something to tell you." And his chains explode off his arm. "No, I'm free," he says. He yells at you. And the whole Macedon turns dexterously and fast, and he just falls with an entire weight, crushing the Gutter Guild member right underneath him. Because
I should have done this like 15 minutes ago.
He was inspired by the barbarian's presence. So he does like a snow angel on top of this Gutter Guild member and he manages to grab one of the hand axes of the 17 as he's falling, and as he looks up and throws it with some he puts the axe right in the chest of the other Gutter Guild member, and he falls.
Yes, but
he falls on his face.
He basically axe throws them.
It's tactics, bro. Don't worry.
And he clashes his axe. He takes another one, clashes his axe, and goes, "Brother, destroy them!" He yells out.
I can't. I'm getting injured. Even if you try to
Yes.
I feel like I'm gonna die.
Say it again.
That building school is absolutely 100% Yeah. Yeah, I know.
He goes as far as he can over here.
So there's a Gutter Guild member right in front of you. He's closing in.
Just stab that guy.
You right,
Okay. You can see he's trembling with some hesitation to run past. Okay.
Okay, they didn't attack me. They'll probably attack me.
So,
If you're gonna attack them, I would that.
so if he attacks me, if I'm in the back, I am.
You will basically.
Okay. Yes. We're running out of time. I want to make sure everyone gets one more turn. This is these large battles.
Wait, what was his initiative? What was your initiative? 8?
Oh my goodness.
I totally got it.
So sorry, just because
I had an 18.
because Blaskus had a higher initiative. So let's resolve that and tackle. Hold that number because you can keep that. So okay, let's go around and make sure everyone gets one last action before we wrap up because we're almost done. But good work, everybody. So let's just go around the table and tell me what you want to do based on.
I'll go first.
Wait,
Well, you
I
already
had an 18 on my.
18, okay, good. So half one, go ahead.
I'm just gonna come over here and stab this guy.
Very good. Okay, so you see the barbarian closing in at a rapid pace. Did you make it fast? So, yes, sure. He's the one who has the lash around the dragonborn's arm, and he's yanking by.
Whoa! That damage is gonna be,
The were-rat looks up with vicious hatred burning in his eyes again. This the hateful-looking one, the kind of insanity in his eyes.
all right, so that's 16 damage.
So the blade of the short sword lifts him off the ground, and he's fully impaled on your short sword, and he drops.
Yes, a rat kebab.
He drops the filthy lash, and the dragonborn blade kebabs.
My favorite.
Yes.
He drops the filthy lash. The dragonborn is free, but as he slides down the blade, you realize he's grabbing onto your arm and pulling himself into the blade so he can bite your neck out.
Yeah, he's killing himself more while trying to take you down with. He's just trying.
His vicious and foul maw closes inches from your neck, but then he.
Yeah, he's literally stabbing
Yes.
himself.
You
He
make
finished
that
himself
become
up.
bad.
He finished himself off.
I was just thinking, but if you know, our basically our chat word buddy, my friend.
Yeah.
He's not gonna that. I am a goner. I'm a goner. So this, I'm a goner because of being a back. I'm a goner.
Yeah, you were just a really good.
Okay, wait. So I want to make sure everyone has a chance.
Oh, I got slapped like that.
Time out. So, okay, anyone who takes a chance to glance over in this direction sees this guy tumble out the window, and the crow wizard is working his way through the building. Yes, he for a second and then falls over dead, taken out by the crow wizard. So let's continue. Who else? How'd you do your initiative roll?
He had a 6.
Okay.
I had a 13.
Yes. Okay. 16. Claire, go for it.
So the rat's dead.
Yes. Yeah. There's just this kind of a tangle of rats that are definitely disconnected from that shadowy rope. So if they're still alive, they're frenzied and panicked and not attacking
I'm gonna
effectively.
cast light again and then attack with the spiritual weapon again on the other rat.
Yes. So
Is it
this
gonna be
guy's
double
finished
hammer
up. Good. Okay. So he backs away from the dragonborn, realizing he's well outnumbered, and you can see he's backing towards the well, like he's about to
I
make a
want to
break.
point out something. I already rolled to hit that one, and I rolled a 17 on damage.
Yes. So you're
17 to hit,
you're closing in. You're closing the gap, but the cleric will have a chance to go, and then the Lucius. Go ahead.
I said I would cast light and then attack with
Spiritual hammer. Okay, so go ahead and roll with the spiritual hammer.
Stone.
The were-rat is backing up cagily. He sees the hammer come down.
16, 7, 21, yeah.
Okay.
You
So the
ain't
hammer
sleep, you turn into a pancake.
smashes down the side of the were-rat's head. What's the D8 plus your level?
You made it, you turned the entire head into a pancake.
He goes crashing back, and the crumbling brick of the well breaks behind him, and you can hear the stones go tumbling down into the darkness. So he's half over the edge of the well
Push him
and
over.
bashed into the stone. And then the barbarian comes in massively out of the darkness. How'd you do your initiative roll? What was your initiative roll?
I got 12.
12. Okay, so 13. Okay, so the illusionist goes next, then the Raknam, then the barbarian, and then the thief. So you're up here. What do you want to do?
I'm going to descend 30 feet, so I'll be 60 feet above all that's happening.
Okay.
I see just gonna make sure that were-rat dies. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, as I'm gonna cast Hold the Dead on him.
Very good. Okay. The one who's crushed up against the well here. Okay. Right.
Just make sure he's dead. So I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
That's one.
A 1, which is not healthy for the.
I
He
feel like
takes
that'll be a
12
crit.
damage.
I feel like that'll be a
Wow.
I'm gonna order
Overkill.
the horse.
Overkill.
So I go up 180 feet.
Okay. And to cat calls out, yay! As the
I
next
think-
I think she's happy that I think she's trying to become like you.
150 is what it is, but.
You notice that the crows are keeping pace and they're swarming around you, but again, only out of interest. As you smash the were-rat deep into the sort of grip of the stone, which breaks around him.
Yeah, just making sure he's done.
So Raknam, you still got rats swarming around you, but you realize you can sort of back them away because they seem stunned or dead or
Can I
worse.
run like somewhere over here?
Yes, and the rats are parting in your wake, and you're
I don't
gonna.
wanna cast Thunder Wave.
Oh, no, I'm dead, don't do it, I'm dead.
You have 24 health. You are fine.
I'm pretty sure cubes are cubes here in the center or on the edge.
You have more
Now
health than
there.
everyone else. You
Now-
are fine.
Yes, Rockno, when you break out of this circle,
So he has a
2
little-
arrows go whizzing past your head, definitely miss, but you see that the snipers have caught their attention. So there's 2 Gutter Guild members, one is closing in on the tiefling, and this one who seems just panicked and unable to act. But you can certainly blow up Thunderwave. It's gonna probably get the tiefling. What's the radius of it?
Oh, enough.
It's
60, right?
Enough.
15. Yeah.
Radius 15 foot.
15.
Yeah, so.
Oh,
you
no,
can hit them both.
So I hit them both, but just barely missed it.
Just barely, yeah. The
Barely.
In fact,
Don't forget about
you see that the tiefling does something,
18
so you
rats.
roll away
Don't forget about the 18 rats.
to protect yourself. So go ahead.
Just run into the arrows.
Yes.
As I see that, I say, that was quite a shocker.
3.
Wow,
wait.
Yes.
Right next to the
You could put the mask on.
Oh, yes, what a shot.
Okay, so
So 19 damage.
both.
Damage everywhere in the
This is a simulation of what happens.
Oh, yeah. Wow,
This Gutter Guild member explodes into a building, rats go flying everywhere, and money. Sweet. And the Dragonborn puts the mask on.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens next time. Okay, and then the monk will get to go. Sorry. So, Barbarian. No, so the rat is impaled by stone, but he's still alive. His crusty maw is full of blood. He looks up,
Decapitation
with
die.
one eye back. He looks up and he says, "Do it, he says.
Just knock him down the well.
25 and my damage is 17.
He told you to do it.
Okay, so this is what's important. You hit the where with such force that the well explodes and collapses, and an enormous hole opens up in the center of the cobblestone, threatening to pull the Dragonborn and the Barbarian into its crumbling pit. Make a dexterity check. And that's where we'll leave off till next time. So, oh yes, okay.
I had such overkill on that on those last.
Okay, so you instantly jump back out of the race.